YouTube, it's me, Simone, and today we are going to drain tofu. We're going to learn how to press tofu. I used to be vegan several years ago, and I was vegan for about 5 years, and I stopped being vegan because, long story short, maybe I'll post it on my blog, or it is on my blog, about how my naturopath said that I should probably eat meat because of having Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, and PCOS. So I started eating meat about 4 years ago. I grew up being a meat eater, and yeah, I love my meat eating ways and going back to eating meat. Don't stone me. However, I do have some friends over this weekend who are vegan, who I met during my vegan journey. And so I'm going to have to go back to my vegan ways so I can feed them. Hence the sweat, hence the mess, hence me being really hot. It's really, really hot in here. There's no air conditioning in my apartment. And so I try to wear as little clothes as possible. Probably too much TMI for YouTube. But I do remember I showed my sister one of my YouTube videos, and she was like, "Are you wearing clothes?" Yes, I'm wearing clothes. Just that. I try to wear very little. Hence everything going on. Hence, you know, the lentils being cooked. Going back to my vegan ways. And part of going back to my vegan ways also means embracing tofu. Tofu is a great food. There's so many people who say, "Oh my gosh, I hate tofu." And I don't know why. Tofu is really good if it's prepared properly. It's a really good source of protein. It's a really good source of calcium. But many times I've gone to restaurants and I feel like they barely did anything to the tofu. Maybe they sprinkled on some salt. Maybe they cut it up and flipped it over 2 times. But the tofu had no taste. So I understand why there are many people who do not like tofu. However, if you prepare tofu properly, tofu could mimic many meats, and it's also a really versatile food, especially if you're vegetarian or vegan. Now, why is it important to drain tofu? Well, tofu comes in these little packs. Tofu is usually packed in water. Here I have organic, extra firm tofu, two different brands. Tofu is usually packed in a lot of water. And when you drain tofu, that allows it, or when you press tofu, that allows for all or as much of water as possible to come out. You want to take out as much water as possible so that when you marinate tofu, you season tofu, it could suck up and absorb all of your seasons and juices. Tofu is really like salmon, right? There are certain meats like salmon, which you have to marinate. And tofu is very much the same way. You don't cook tofu like you cook other veggie meats. You don't cook tofu like you would cook chicken. You can't just sprinkle on seasoning and call it a day. You should drain the tofu and then you let it marinate in your seasoning marinade of choice. That way it better absorbs the flavor, and it actually makes it really easier, much easier to cook. What else do I have to say about tofu? I think we'll just get right to it. There are many ways to press tofu. I'm going to show you one way. There is no one right way. You can even buy a tofu press. I'm sure there are many brands on Amazon, but I don't have space for any more appliances. Neither do I have money or time. So I just do it the ghetto old-fashioned way. What you want to do is you want to take your tofu and you're going to open up the package over the sink, obviously, and drain out all the water. Once you've drained out the water, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have your block of tofu. I have been known, to do the lazy way, which is wrap it up. Sometimes I'll wrap it up in a clean towel, tea towel, or some Bounty paper towel, some strong paper towel, and just kind of squeeze it. This is the lazy way, and of course, if you do it the lazy way, you're not necessarily going to get everything out of it as you should. So there are multiple ways to do it. There's one of my favorite cookbooks written by 2 Seventh-day Adventists called Give Them Something Better, talking about, you know, how the Adventist way of eating and living causes us to live longer than the general population. And in the back on how to drain tofu, they recommend to place tofu in a colander, place a plate over the tofu, and place something heavy on the plate so that the tofu is being pressed. Allow tofu to drain 30 minutes. Wrap tofu tightly in a large, or this is another way, you can wrap tofu tightly in a large lint-free towel, place in the refrigerator for several hours or overnight, or you can microwave drain tofu for a few minutes. That will draw out some of the water, and you can finish by blotting with a paper towel. Those are none. I've never actually used any of those ways. What I like to do is literally wrap it up in a towel and set it in a plate. But because I wanted to see how much water is actually in these things, I'm going to do it slightly differently. I have a little screen protector here. I have a little container here, and I have several books. And this is often a little bit of a balancing act. We're going to balance these books on top of the tofu. And we are going to let the tofu drain. In terms of how long it'll take to drain, I'd say, wait 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then you'll see how much water actually comes out of these things. So let's wait and see. Oh, we're back. It's been about 15 minutes or so. I'm just going to show you the tofu that we have been draining. So take all my heavy stuff up off of it. Goodness, when you have a small kitchen, it's so hard to find space. Take my tofu off. So already you can see the colander is wet. And I did get a fair bit of water from pressing the tofu. So now that this tofu is pressed, you can always check to see if there's any more water and press that up as well with your hands, or wrap it up in a tea towel and continue to press it and get all the water out. But once you've gotten all the water out, then it's ready to use. On today's menu, I'm making lentil walnut burgers, and I'm also making a tofu ricotta cheese to go into my vegan tofu ricotta lasagna. Another way, or what I like to do with tofu once it's been pressed, the easiest way to prepare tofu and have it as a side dish, or if you want to put it in a Buddha bowl, is to slice up the tofu, and then I would marinate it in soy sauce. Maybe overnight, or at least for half an hour in the refrigerator. I take it out, I grease a pan with some oil. I would slice up the tofu, put it on the pan, put it in the oven for about 30 minutes, and you'd have baked tofu. So maybe I'll show you how to do that in another video, but I just really want to show you this key step of how to prepare tofu. Because a lot of times when I ask people, okay, so you don't like tofu, but do you press your tofu? They tell me, press your tofu? So there you have it. This is why you should press your tofu. This is the first essential step of eating tofu. And yeah, if you do this, I guarantee that your tofu will taste infinitely better. I hope you have a lovely day. Wish me luck as I continue cooking in this hot kitchen. Wish me luck as I continue to cook in this hot kitchen. And I'll check you later. Bye.